In this lesson, we will take a short break from our application in order to understand a very important concept in JavaScript: passing variables by reference versus passing variables by value. During the lesson, we won't dig into how the memory or browsers work, but we will focus on easy to grasp examples in order to better understand the practical implications of these differences. We can say that in JavaScript we have two types of data: the primitive type, which are the strings, the numbers, the booleans, the null, and the undefined. These data types are passed by value. The second type is the object. In JavaScript, arrays and functions are technically objects. The object types are always passed by reference. When a variable is assigned a primitive type of data, we can say that the variable contains the data. If we assign these variables to other variables, the value is copied. Here we see what each variable contains. If we then change the name2 variable to John, the name variable is not affected, so the name and the name2 variables are not related in any way. This is pretty basic stuff that I expect you all know. Now let's see how objects work. When a variable is signed object type data, it doesn't contain the actual data itself, but rather a reference to the memory where the data is stored. Notice here that pet and pet2 contain the same values. That is the reference to the location of the object in memory. Accordingly, fruits and fruits2 also contain the same address for the array in memory. Every time we change a property of an object, the JavaScript engine goes to the location in memory and updates the stored data. So, when a property of the pet object changes, the change takes place in memory and all variables that refer to the object update. So, here after changing pet's animal property to monkey, pet and pet2 remain identical. Accordingly, when we push an item to the fruits array, fruits and fruits2 are the same. The same happens even when we update an object inside a function. In order to be able to update the object separately, we have to clone the object when we assign it to a variable. This way, a new object is stored in the memory and the two variables are not related. There are many ways to clone an object. The one that I like the best is using the spread operator. So after cloning the object, changes that happen on the objects do not affect one another. The same applies for arrays, since arrays are objects in JavaScript. Be careful when you are cloning objects that include arrays, objects, or other object type properties, because they are again copied by reference, even though they are nested. As you understand, this is a common source of bugs, and in order to truly clone an object, we need to recursively clone all its children. So, to deep clone an object, we can use a kind of hacky solution where we convert the object to a string first using JSON, and then parse it back to an object. Unfortunately though, this method won't copy user-defined object methods, so if you're cloning complex objects, you should rely on a library like Lodash. The point of this lesson is not to teach how to clone objects, but to give an understanding on the difference between copying by reference and copying by value. It's a bit tricky at first, but now that you understand what's going on under the hood, you can be better prepared to work with objects.